Welcome to this podcast of the Wake County Public School System. Here's Bill Poston.
Hi, I'm Bill Poston, and I'm at East Millbrook Middle School in the Media Center. It's after school. There's a special project going on, and has been for quite some time, because John Roach, one of the teachers here in the Hurricane team, I believe, has been working with a number of students to give them chances to do things a little bit beyond what they would do in the normal class. Mr. Roach, tell me a little bit about what y'all have organized and what your students are doing.
All right. Well, the program actually started last year. It was jointly sponsored by myself and our Advanced and Gifted Coordinator, April Grabowski. And what started last year as an after-school program to push students to do more than what we can offer them in just a normal classroom setting. We can only do so much within one class. And with an included class, we want to do more for everybody. And we felt that some of our students could be challenged even more in the academic setting, and so we found the best time to do it would be after school. And it started as a pilot program last year with only one project, and it's tripled this year into 3 different projects. We had a project on the Traveling Korean War Memorial, an Australian Endangered Animal project, and finally we did an art project as our last project, which is why we're here today.
Now, how does this extend what the students would have been doing in the classroom?
Well, we study several different cultures. 7th grade focuses mainly on Asia, Australia, and Africa. And the projects are based off of additional information which I don't have time to present in class. For example, we studied the Korean War further in depth after school. We studied Australian animals, which we unfortunately had very little time for this year in our classroom, but we were able to delve deep into the animal life and also what life is like in the outback in Australia, and that's what the students studied. For this final project, it started 2 weeks ago with our 8th grade teacher, Ron Jones, doing a presentation on art history, and our art teacher, Ms. Farrell Davis, doing an art presentation on modern art. Last week, the students went on an after-school field trip to the North Carolina Museum of Art and answered specific questions critiquing and analyzing the pieces of artwork there, both from Africa, Europe, and modern art gallery up top. And today, so we're here now because the students created their own art gallery, and their parents are gathered here, and it's sponsored by Michael Deans, and they've offered to cater the event, and their parents are here, so it's going to be a great time.
One of the things we talk about is the standard course of study and how there's certain things that are required to be covered in the classroom by that, but there's a lot of depth to the standard course of study, and then beyond that, there are other things that you can do for students. Now, how does that fit into your discussion that you just had about what you covered in class and how there are things beyond that?
All right, well, one of the things that we do at East Millbrook is that we are a magnet school for the arts, A+ creative arts school, and all the projects that I've given out, that myself and Ms. Grabowski have given out, have had an art focus on it. The students have had to create something. In addition to that, they practice their oratory skills, which they learn in my class and also in Ms. Lipinski, our language arts class. And they have to present themselves, and they're graded on an International Baccalaureate rubric. And so we get to encompass everything about our school into these projects, and it's really awesome.
Okay. Now, we have 5 different students with us here who are going to talk to us for a few minutes. And first of all, can you tell me what your name is? And then I'll ask you some questions.
My name is Tram Vo.
Adam Fairbanks.
Tracy Parker. Hannah Davis.
And I'm Tuvo.
Now, tell me a little bit about the project that you worked on and what you put together and brought to school this afternoon.
Today we're doing like an art project where we have to focus our meetings on art and what we can make out of it. We had like 3 weeks to work on it, and we had to write an essay, which is kind of shorter because Mr. Roach didn't want to grade a lot of essays.
Right here at the end of the school year, I can understand that. But tell me specifically about yours. What did you put together and bring today?
I was trying to figure out an idea, and then I remembered when I was working in school, it had to do with the next school production thing for a fundraiser. It's called Once Upon a Time, and I kind of changed that into reality and what it might look like today.
So if I looked at your project, what would I see?
A vase with flowers on top that look like Cinderella's castle, and on the side it's like a vine-ish flower with that's breathing out fire that represents a dragon.
How does that fit into what you were trying to get people to understand?
I'm trying to get them to understand that sometimes if you look at things close enough, it might look like something make-believe.
Okay, good. Now, can you tell me about your project?
My project is almost like an old London theater mask. I used plaster on bandages, and I laid under 5 layers of it for about an hour with Vaseline all over my face. It was quite fun. We had to rip it off, very painful, but I gave it paint and hot glue for 3D effects, and it looks really good.
So if I look at it, and I understand you went through all this hard work and pain and suffering to create this, but what will I see whenever I look at it? Did you paint it? What does it look like?
Half of it's white, half of it's black. The mouth is in a frown. The eyes are like slits. There are bumps going up the middle, 2 rows of bumps going up the middle, and 1 row around the sides, made by little hot glue dots. And those are opposite on each side, and there are swirls on the forehead.
And this symbolizes, or I'm supposed to understand from this what?
The different types of emotion in someone's life. The white is happiness, the black is sadness. And there's a little bit of each in each side, so that symbolizes that one can't exist without the other.
Okay. And can you tell me a little bit about your project?
My project was basically focusing on different emotions of people and how they felt. So basically mine's like different colors, and it symbolizes emotions like sad, happy, outgoing, energetic, just basically that.
Okay. And did it take a lot of work to put this together?
Yes, it did. I made it out of like different rectangles, so it's basically abstract art. So I had to cut them and then glue all of the different colors that I used for the emotions.
And where did you get the idea to do this?
I looked at some artists such as Joseph Albers, and I saw some of his artwork, so I basically got it off of that.
Okay. Can you tell me a little bit about your project?
My project is called The Sun Will Set For You, after the song. It's an awesome song. And it's a painting of the beach right as the sun goes down. And I wanted to show that even though if you've had a really bad day, at the end of the day, you can still relax. You know, there's good left in the world.
Okay. And how did you make this or create this?
I don't like using paint, but I used oil pastels, which is kind of like a crown, and it mixes colors very well.
And can you tell me a little bit about your project?
My project is called The Difference. It has a picture of 2 girls. One is crossing her arms, the other is just holding one of her arms. One of them looks happy, the other looks sad. And mostly, it's not about the facial expression, it's like they're twins, and people keep messing up who they are, because one wears one thing, one wears the other, and everyone can tell them apart once they get to know the twins. But the first time they see them, they just don't know who's who. But once they get to know, they can tell from our expressions, our clothes, and stuff like that.
Where did you get the idea to do something like that?
I'm a twin, so I kind of know what that means and how twins can feel about it.
Now, how is this different from what you would normally do in class, and how did you feel about devoting time after school to doing it?
Being able to do this after school just means that we're giving up our time to learn more, to fill our brains with more knowledge, so we'll be able to achieve the goals that we usually would have.
In class, we would usually do projects, but they'd be like with groups, and this is kind of a chance for us to do individual projects.
Did any of you have observations about how this is different from what you would normally do in class, or whether it was a good investment of your time to do it?
This opportunity that Mr. Roach has given us has shown us that not only can we do the normal work, which we always complain about, say it's hard, oh I can't do this, but we can do better than that. We can put more of our time into learning things that we'll need later on, and it showed us that not all schoolwork is horrible and painful.
This experience has been a lot of fun. We usually don't do art in class, but we do have projects, and we got to just like show what we had in mind.
Doing these projects has been a lot of fun, and this time you could do it by yourself, and it's all of your ideas.
Now, Mr. Roach, you've heard the students talk a little bit about it, and you've been working with them on this for a whole year. What do you think that they get out of doing this type of enrichment work?
Well, these students who are doing this are my advanced students, and I just am happy to be able to challenge them more than I normally do in class. And I'm so happy that my students have stepped up to the challenge. The program started out with 47 students, I believe, and this is, of course, on their own accord. I said, I would like for you to do this. I expect you to do this, but you don't have to. And I've had 20 students do consistently throughout the entire about 5 months that we've been working on this. So I couldn't be prouder of my students.
So not only are the students volunteering their time after school, but I assume you are too, to encourage them to do this?
It takes quite a bit of time. As the students mentioned before, they were giving me 4 or 5 page essays, and with 40 students, it's a lot of reading to do at night. But between myself, Ms. Grabowski, and our IB coordinator, Mr. Charles Jones, has been helping us out. My language arts teacher as well has been doing stuff for us, and everyone has been helping out with this program all around the school. It's just, I couldn't have more support at a better school.
You've also involved parents in this project to some extent, too. And I know that you have a number of them here in the library today as you'll get ready to do the wrap-up. What sort of parent feedback have you got on this?
Oh, completely positive. I've got several emails saying that they're glad that they finally found something like this for their child. Maybe they think that they should be doing more in school, or they were at a different school and they just moved here and they were looking for this. So I'm glad that I can offer that for them. Also, with every project, there's a parent-student reflection where the students have to reflect on their work and answer the critical thinking questions that I've given. And then I've also asked the parents for feedback. And more specifically, did your children work on this properly? Can you expect to monitor this next time? And each time the work just keeps getting better and better because the parents are more and more involved, and it's awesome.
So you've heard from a number of 7th graders on the Hurricane team and one of the teachers from the Hurricane team, John Roach, about a special academically gifted project that they're doing after school at East Millbrook Middle School. They're here today at the school in the Media Center wrapping up presentations on that. I'm glad you were here to join with us. I'm Bill Poston. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for joining us for this podcast, prepared for you by the Communications Department of the Wake County Public School System.